We return now to Georgia, and joining me to unpack this developing story is Shota Gvineria, Senior Fellow at the Economic Policy Research Centre. Good evening, sir.
Hello. Thank you for your interest.
A pleasure to have you. Can I begin in Tbilisi? As we sit here tonight, what is the feeling on the ground?
Well, actually, the feelings on the ground are mixed because what we have been looking at in this last few months, is a huge legitimacy crisis that the Georgian Dream is in. Basically, to start from a bigger picture, we do a very well established, known, and studied Russian model, the extension of the Russian regime in Georgia, Tbilisi. So expectations from the elections were not that positive or optimistic from the people who know the situation on the ground. We know that there is an effective state capture in place. We know that the Georgian Dream regime has been putting forward the combination of coercion, vote buying, and propaganda to kind of create the uneven environment in which elections are basically not possible. You cannot call this elections because this has been the forceful process in which the laws have been twisted beforehand and prepared for this unfair competition. The leaders of the opposition are in jail. The civil society organizations that have been usually part of this election process, preparations for the election and monitoring the election, they're under enormous legal, financial pressure and coercion from the government. So they were not able to participate in the process. And the media is under enormous pressure. Well, what we can say here is that there was nothing much to be expected to start with. Nothing much has changed. The people in the streets are basically protesting the legitimacy crisis that the Georgian Dream has, and there is nothing that is changed from this perspective.
And many will have seen those pictures from the attempted storming of the presidential palace last night, kind of thinking, what is going on in Georgia? Do you think this helps or hinders the protesters' cause?
Well, it once again underlines the desperate situation in Georgia, because it has been almost a year that the people in massive numbers are protesting against the rigged parliamentary elections. And what we have seen as a response from the government is more and more coercion and more violence from day to day, and then the people that has been out in the streets, most of the people were basically there to show their distrust towards the election process. They were there to tell the government that basically what they're trying to sell as the elections, it's basically a circus. It cannot legitimize any official that comes to the office through this illegitimate process, and that was the main goal of most of the people, that hundreds of people, thousands of people that were there in the street. Well, then there were some incidents, of course, and there has been some unforeseen developments in some parts of managing the expectations of some groups of the people there on the ground. But still, I would still focus on the bigger picture. And if we see what's going on today in Tbilisi, is that people are coming back to the same place they have been standing for months and saying the same thing, saying the very same thing. These details and this shows that the government is trying to suggest as the response to this big political and legitimacy crisis will not change anything. They will be there until their voice is heard, and they will be in this peaceful protest. And the vast majority of the civil society, of the people that are there on the ground, they're basically going to proceed with the peaceful protest. But what we see from the government side, again, is they have been arresting hundreds of people. they will use these incidents, unfortunately, to get people out of their way, people that have been problematic for them, because they're very well established in their peaceful protest, and then they will try to start this witch hunt now to connect everybody and everything that they don't like to this incidents that you're referring to. So they will. We see the signs that they're using this already for basically whitewashing or affirming their conspiracy theories, which they have polluted Georgian information space with.
Well, precisely on that, is there a worry now that this attempted sort of storming of the palace or this incident gives the Georgian Dream Party an ability to prosecute, to crack down harder on dissent and to dismiss the protesters?
Absolutely, but they didn't need much reason for that anyway. What we have seen through the last month is that they're doing it anyway. Whether they have a reason for that or not, they have the Georgian State Security Service, Ministry of Internal Affairs have been coming up with that conspiracy theories every time, even when there was not even a little sparkle of evidence or a basis for that. They have been going after the people that are involved in these protests and dissent for no reason. Well, that now they have a little bit more to show to their supporters, maybe some little part of their supporters that still believe that Georgian Dream is basically a political party rather than an authoritarian regime, which is an extension of Putin's regime. These people will still see footage, these videos, and Georgian Dream has now more ammunition for their propaganda campaigns and disinformation campaigns. That's obvious. But in terms of the outcome of all this, it's going to be the same because they have been sending innocent people to jail anyway, and that's what they will continue doing now, but with more confidence, I guess.
You mentioned there the Georgian Dream Party being an extension of Putin's regime. To be clear, in your view, has the West lost Georgia to Russia?
Well, right now, Georgia has lost itself, I would say. We're out of the constitutional process. The regime that is ruling Georgia right now is not a legitimate party. They cannot rule the country, and they cannot rule Georgian society as a whole. So they have this handful of people that they control for one reason or another, and then they have another handful of people that they have scared to death, and they're not doing anything. They're not saying anything. They just stay at home and they don't want to participate in the political process. And this gives them the opportunity to create the false picture that they are basically running and governing the country, but they can't because the most active part of Georgia's society is against Russia. It's against Georgian Dream's policies that are on the record officially taking the country away from European Union, away from NATO, away from the United States, all our Western partners that has been the only guarantee for Georgia's sovereignty and prosperity for so long. So that's the main core of the problem. That basically they are cheating on the social contract. Nobody, even their supporters, are not ready to vote for the openly pro-Russian government. That's why they're still kind of trying to confuse as many people as possible. On one hand, they are demonizing European Union. On the other hand, in the same news cycle, they're saying that they will still apply for the EU membership in 2030. It doesn't make sense unless you know how Russian propaganda works, right? For Russian propaganda, that's fine, that's okay. You can say one thing today, another thing tomorrow, which are totally contradictory, but in the bigger picture, it doesn't matter because your objective is to confuse as many people as possible. Their objective is not for the people to believe in something. Their objective is for the people to believe in nothing. And then that gives them the opportunity to rule with this, demotivated and disoriented masses much more easier. But that's not their playbook. It's a Russian playbook that has been effective in Russia, then in Belarus, and now we see it happening in Georgia, one by one, step by step, the same pattern.
Shota Gvineria, Senior Fellow at the Economic Policy Research Centre, thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all for World News Tonight. Do stay with us here on TVP World. I'm Aaron Darman. Good night.